complicated stuff.
Ich habe mir jetzt mal angeguckt. Muss man mal merken.
All we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Renner right away.
Aber Dankeschön. Schau ich mir mal an. Weil ich denke halt mit Abluft wäre schlauer. Es wird ein Weilchen dauern, euer Raumschiff vollständig zu reparieren. Ich würde vorschlagen, dass ihr euch bis dahin etwas ausruht. Ausruhen. Ich denke, das ist am sinnvollsten. Weil auch gerade das Thema Sauerstoff hier drin ein Problem ist in dem Raum. Weil ich habe ja die Fenster zu, logischerweise. Deswegen ist vielleicht doch eine mit Abluft besser.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Dahnans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Dahnans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Dahnans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegus when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegus proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind.
Geil.
Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Ich denke, ich werde mich da mal schlau machen. Und Zack, kannst du gerne machen. Wechselst du dann aber bei mir, oder?
Hey,
Wie oft
why'd
soll
you
ich denn da
call me
wechseln?
here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dahna's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dahna's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dahna's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dahna's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dahna's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dahna's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dahna's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dahna's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Heverick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dahna's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
Unbewusst mittlerweile. Also im Stream.
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. are you doing, Xian?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dahna? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrecht 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything that
Listen,
we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Dahnans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Xian. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Xian.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Xian,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Nein, Arok hat ja recht. Ich wollte eh nicht mehr so viel im Stream dampfen, aber manchmal mal ist halt unbewusst. Was für eine Frage wolltest du denn stellen?
Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only to send down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dahna and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Phasal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy.
Oh.
Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
Das ist großartig. Hör auf zu schleimen. Nein, Arok hat recht. Arok hat recht. Ich wollte es mir eigentlich immer abgewöhnen, so oft im Stream zu dampfen. Falls du deswegen meinst. Diese Hitze, die Hitze macht mich echt kaputt gerade. Ich hab so keinen Bock mehr auf diese Hitze. Wie schaffen das Streamer, die mit dem Greenscreen streamen? Die haben doch bestimmt 10.000 Klimaanlagen daheim. Oder leben in einem Bunker oder so.
Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
Oh, danke schön, Only. Ey, ich habe echt keine Ahnung, ob ich wegen diese scheiß Migräne einfach mal zum Arzt gehen sollte. Und bei mir wäre das andersrum auch. Wenn ich bei mir kein Nikotin reinmache, hänge ich ständig dran. Nur gerade wenn du diese Pausen hast, dann ist das halt echt schlimm. Ich habe echt keinen Bock mehr auf die Hitze. Ganz ehrlich. Ich weiß nicht, ob diese Migräne einfach mit dem Alter dazu hängen, weil früher war das nicht so extrem. Jetzt, sobald warm ist, ich habe ruckzuck Migräne. Jeder, der Migräne hat, glaube ich, kann mich nachempfinden. Das ist nicht geil.
This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere.
Nee, ich hab mit.
Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Ah nein, eine tote Welt.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dahna.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dahna is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dahna, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dahna's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
Hey, ich glaube, wir können uns bewegen. Zerstörte Überreste Arena. Ja, das stimmt wirklich, was mit Miguel passiert ist.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dahna suffer the same fate. Ever.
Ja, wie wenig, ja. Das stimmt wirklich. Schon krass.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength, it's that it's sentient too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma. which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renin rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Dahnans started pressing their own.
Renins, Dahnans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
Let's go. Hey, wir können uns bewegen. Hey, gleich kommt hier wieder eine Cutscene. Wisst ihr, wie sich das anfühlt? Wie Final Fantasy 15. Wisst ihr warum? Ab einem bestimmten Punkt hat Final Fantasy 15 sogar eine Story. Glaubt man kaum, oder? Irgendwie habe ich gerade voll die Flashbacks davon. Oh, guck mal, jetzt können wir auf jeden Fall wieder in die ganze Welt zurück. Theoretisch. Ich würde gerne mal speichern. Ich bin auch da, keine Angst. Eine Bombe, ja. Ne, am Ende kommt jetzt echt viel Story zusammen. Krass. Hey, Story! Eine Cutscene, wer hätte das gedacht? Wow! Nein, ist ja auch schön. Das ist mir ein bisschen too much. Die letzten paar Stunden. Oh. Okay, mal ein Kampf. Nach fast 2 Stunden. 1,5 Stunden.
Guess they don't need their red woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
Let's go. Wir kriegen mal wieder einen Kampf. Ich glaub's nicht. Das ist ja der Wahnsinn, Chat. Oh, die sind ein bisschen stark. Die halten ganz schön was aus. Scheiße. Das hat nicht geklappt. Noch verlernst, ja, so in der Art. Ist halt wirklich so. Nee, schlimm. Also klar, auf der einen Seite muss ich sagen, ist cool, viel Story-Inhalt, aber ein bisschen too much für mich jetzt gewesen. Es war doch ein bisschen zu viel. Das hätte man auch schöner lösen können. Hallo Luxu! Hallo! Hallihallo! Hallo! Hallihallo! Hallo! Hallo! Wie geht's dir? Schön, dass du dabei bist. Hallo! Entschuldigung. Sorry! Der gute Laune trotz schwitzig Stream. Trotz schwül Stream.
Alphen.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Dahnan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
Pläne für den Ruhestand, lol.
Ganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Auch damit anfangen. Oh, geil. Ganz viel Spaß. Also für mich hat sich das Game definitiv gelohnt, aber sowas von.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hoodle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hoodle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell?
Alleine wegen Huddle muss man dieses Game schon spielen. Alleine wegen Huddle. Oder? Wie steht ihr dazu, Chat? Allein wegen Huddle muss man das Game schon spielen.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dahna, let alone up in Lenegus.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dahna and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
Lul. Ey, ich habe das Gefühl, umso später es wird, umso wärmer wird hier drin, ohne Scheiß. Wow, nochmal ein Kampf. Das ist ja amazing. Oh mein Gott. Wir kämpfen wahrhaftig nochmal. Ich dachte, heute wird nicht mehr gekämpft. Ein Kampf reicht doch pro Stream, oder? Also ich mache mich halt lustig, also ich mache mich schon irgendwo lustig drüber, aber also ich finde es jetzt nicht schlimm. Weil halt guter Story-Inhalt, aber ein bisschen too much. Mit vielen Wolken. Ich glaube, ich will es gar nicht wissen, wie viel bei uns ist. Vielleicht gar nicht so verkehrt, wenn ich es nicht weiß. Nice, wieder geschafft. Das Ding ist hier auf dem Dachboden ist halt echt die Katastrophe. Ich bin so froh, wenn alles gut läuft, ziehen wir Ende nächstes Jahr um. Wenn alles gut läuft. Alleine deswegen will ich mir halt schon ein Klima holen, dass wir selber eine haben. Weil die, wo hier am Wohnzimmer ist, die ist ja hier vom Haus.
I need to be stronger.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegus, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for? We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In tragedy's aftermath, hope is all we have.
Sehr gut, Arok. Viel Erfolg. Däumchen ist oben.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. Oh, even before that. Just how many people, Renan or Dahna, do you think have ever seen this?
Regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
Nice. Couch und Netflix. Das klingt doch super. Nee, viel Erfolg, dass alles gut wird. Und dass es gut zusammenpasst.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquill. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Dahnans?
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Dahnans. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Dahnans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
Wow, Arok, ich nehme alles zurück. Also Chat freut sich für dich nur. Ich meine die Resident Evil Serie. Den Anime oder welchen? Gab es eigentlich eine andere Serie? Nee, gell? Weißt du was? Dann nimm doch deine tolle Klimaanlage und kuschel mit der und guck dann Resident Evil. Wow. Arok hat einfach uns alle getrollt. Ich bin dafür, Arok gibt uns alle ein Eis aus, oder? Chat? Da sind wir einer Meinung, oder? Viva la Revolution. Viva la Revolution. Viva la Revolution. Wie... Viva la Revolution. Ach, leck mich doch am Arsch. Viva Dingsbums da. Käsekuchen für alle. Oder ein Eisi. Komplett neue Serie. Echt? Geil. Wow, Zack. Zack ist der Clipmeister. Nein, viel Spaß auch. Und was läuft denn hier auf Netflix oder Prime? Ist die animiert oder so im Real Life? Wann, wie, wo? Gamescom 2023. Ich möchte ein schönes, leckeres Eis. Und kein Foto davon. Ich möchte ein richtiges Eis. Zum Anfassen und so, zum Abschlappern. Netflix und Real. Muss ich mal gucken. Geil. Ist neu rausgekommen jetzt, oder was? Viva la Revolution. Jetzt habe ich es geschafft. Habe ich schon mal erzählt. Nee, das sage ich nicht, weil ich mir unsicher bin. Doch, das ist Französisch, gell? Das war Französisch. Ja, morgen. Oh. Das ist nice. Ich hoffe, Vanessa hört nichts davon. Kann ich alleine gucken. Ein Eis ist... Ich hätte Eis da. Ich kann kein Eis mehr sehen. Ich habe am Wochenende so viel Eis gefuttert. Ich sag doch, ich habe das Wochenende... Ich habe mindestens das Wochenende 3 Kilo zugenommen. Safe Call. Ich traue mich nicht auf die Waage. Safe Call. Wie cool, dann weiß ich, was ich auf jeden Fall am Wochenende gucken mal werde. Wenn ich mit der Sau fertig bin. Ja, ich habe endlich mal die 3. Staffel angefangen. Yay. Du holst dir mal ein Eis. Geil. Lass es dir schmecken. Guten Hunger. Aber denk dran. Nein, das sage ich jetzt nicht. Das ist nicht jugendfrei. Genieß das langsam, sonst kriegst du Hirnfrost. Ich sage das jetzt mal so. Wir wollen ja mal nicht hier komische Dinge sagen. Ups. Gutes Looten, genau. Gutes Looten-Sack. Vielleicht hat er auch gar kein Eis mehr. Vielleicht geht er gerade an den Gefrierschrank. So voller Hoffnung, ja, ich habe noch ein Eis. Geht dran und es ist kein Eis mehr da. Deswegen, gutes Looten. Ich würde mich schon mit irgendeiner Abkühlung in diesem Scheißraum hier zufrieden, glaube ich, geben. Ich hoffe wirklich so sehr, dass das mit dem Umzug irgendwann klappt nächstes Jahr. Also Ende nächsten Jahres. Das wäre so ein Träumchen. Oh, so ein Eis wäre jetzt doch geil. Ich müsste gucken, ich glaube, ich habe sogar noch. Nee, Vanessa hat noch Eis. Vor allem vorhin ich komme nach Hause, sagt zu Vanessa, hast du noch ein Eis? Keine Ahnung. Ich denke mir so, fuck, hätte ich das gewusst, hätte ich die Eis weggefuttert. Scheiße. Was denn? Er hat doch nur gesagt, gutes Looten. War alles gut? Okay, nächstes Jahr Gamescom, Eis auf mich. Nimm mich beim Wort. Aber nicht gucken, wenn ich mit Käsekuchen ankomme. Der ist für Fire Night. Ich hab Fire Night versprochen, er kriegt einen Käsekuchen. Ist notiert. Ich freue mich wahrhaftig nächstes Jahr auf die Gamescom. Das wird toll. Der zweite hat eindeutig mehr Spaß. Warum war mir das so klar? Es war mir so klar. Es war mir so klar.
Hey, I'm pretty lucky. Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures.
Oh, doch jetzt so ein Eis.
Or could they be Zoogle somehow?
Whatever they are,
Kritisch.
they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches? I have a
Ich
bad
könnte so Mission Impossible Style kurz in die Küche flitzen. Aber ich will eigentlich kein Eis im Stream genießen. Man muss ja heutzutage aufpassen, was man sagt. Schwarz, weil der Kirscher ist. Oh, ich komme vorbei. Wisst ihr, was jetzt geil wäre? Jetzt mal ohne Scheiß. So ein richtig schön eiskalte Stracciatella Milkshake. Oh. Warum tue ich mir das eigentlich immer an? Also ich sitze hier im Zimmer und habe gefühlt 35 Grad. Das ist alle. Oh nö. I'm so sad. This is not good. Ich will manchmal der Kirscheis. Oder beim Milchshake. Ups. Das Gute ist, Mausi hat bei Amazon 200 genug Eis. 200 Wassereis. Boah. Wassereis ist geil. Das könnt ihr eigentlich auch mal wieder kaufen. Bananensplit. War ja Bananensplit war auch nicht schlecht. Irgendwas Schönes. Nicht immer unbedingt süß, fruchtig, aber irgendwas. Ja, wie soll ich sagen? Irgendwas, was das Gemüt gut stillt. Wisst ihr, wie ich meine? Irgendein Eis. Mit dem Eiswürfel. Bitte nicht. Bitte nicht, Chat. Bitte. Don't do this. Don't. Wisst ihr was? Ja, okay, nee, das geht nicht. Ich wollte gerade sagen, so ein Lieferdienst wäre nicht schlecht, aber wie willst du das machen? Obwohl, es gibt bestimmt Gefrierboxen, die du so mit dir rumtragen kannst. Also, wisst ihr, wie ich meine? Oh, was? Oh ja, so ein Joghurt-Eis wäre auch nicht verkehrt. Ich glaube, ich würde jedes Eis jetzt an mich nehmen. Scheißegal, was es ist. Außer irgendwas nur mit Wasser. Zitrone? Wassereis oder? Ja, Wassereis könnte ich echt auch mal wiederholen. Ja, oh, geil. Ich habe einmal, seitdem ich mit Vanessa, ich glaube zweimal, seitdem ich mit Vanessa zusammen mit dem Wassereis geholt, das war ein Fehler. Weil irgendwie waren dann die ganzen tollen Sachen weg. Ich habe nur den Scheiß abbekommen. It's Batman. Dann würde ich jetzt mal Fruchtzwerge einfrieren. Das waren Zeiten. Ja, das stimmt. Einfach ein Eisziel reingeballert und ab in den Gefrierschrank. Das stimmt wirklich. Aber hast du nicht irgendwie was Stilmäßiges? Hätten nimm doch einfach einen Löffel. Ja, ich kenne die Zeiten auch nur zu gut. Boah. Legendenzeit. Machst du heute immer noch? Ah ja klar, warum auch nicht? Nein, der blaue Balken ist weg! Nein! Wir haben noch Orangengelee. Das ist schön. Macht mich nur so ein bisschen sad. Ach du Scheiße, hat er mich viel Leben abgezogen. Ich glaube, spitzt du? Dude! Jetzt aber. Oh, jetzt kriegen sie aber langsam hin, oder? Das läuft langsam. Autsch. Das war knapp. Warum hat er den jetzt aus dem Target genommen? Bist du doof? Dude. Aktuell nichts da. Achso, ja, okay, das ist scheiße dann. Shit. Ich wollte ihn in der Luft erwischen. Ja, warum kann ich kein Dings mehr machen?
As impressive as always.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, Shione, willst du mich nicht teilen? Hast du keinen Bock drauf? Und tschüss. Ja, okay, nicht ganz tschüss, nur so ein bisschen so ein bisschen tschüss. Oh, Shione, der Heal wäre nicht schlecht. Autsch. Da war ganz kurz der Heal. Das war knapp. Es fuckt. Jetzt aber. Das gibt's doch nicht. Dude. Geh mal hops. Ist gut jetzt. Schlafenszeit. Jetzt aber. Geht doch. Ah, schön. Schön, schön, schön. Er ist tot. Toter als tot. Hundeweste. Lul. Irgendwie wusste ich's. So, Chat. Wie hoch machen wir's Donation Gold für eine Klimaanlage? Kappa. Nein, Quatsch. Das Ding ist, ich will mich da echt erstmal schlau machen, wie teuer, was man da so nimmt. Und ich denke halt wirklich mit einem Schlauch im Sinne von halt Luftzufuhr nach draußen. Ich glaube, das wäre am besten. Weil dieser Raum, wie gesagt, der ganze Raum ist aufgeheizt. Ich glaube, das ist das Sinnvollste, was du machen kannst bei sowas. Oh Gott, ich muss niesen. Ich glaube, was anderes bringt nichts. Ich mach's aber auch immer wieder. Das war ein Lot of Damage. Ach so, habe ich vergessen zu sagen, habe ich gar nicht erwähnt. Monda als Stilsmann. Aber das klingt auch nicht schlecht. Auf Discord könnt ihr abstimmen für die nächste Spielereihe nach Xenoblade Chronicles. Und ich bin immer noch auf Namenssuche für das Final Fantasy Speedrun Event. Mit echt unkreatives Fakt, was das angeht. Nice, wieder geschafft. Nice. Das Ding lebt halt immer noch. Come on. Ist gut jetzt. Schlafenszeit. Oh Gott. Okay, das war nicht. Fast Fantasy. Leute. Lustige Idee eigentlich. Na, du Kondom. Fast Fantasy ist so eine lustige Idee. Autsch. feels bad, man. Oh, fuck. Oder eine Abkürzung für das Event.
I have to be in this world.
Don't worry. I've got your
Eine Abkürzung wäre auch nicht
These
schlecht.
structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helganquil. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation.
You mean like how some places
Eigentlich könnte man es ja Final Fantasy Speedrun Marathon
That's an interesting way of
FFSM
looking at it.
nennen.
I'll have to inquire with
Ganz schlicht.
35 about it sometime.
Keine Ahnung. Ich bin echt schlecht, was das angeht in solchen Namen. Das ist katastrophal. FF, SF. Stimmt, scheiße. Mir hätte das aufgefallen. Fuck! Scheiße, ist mir jetzt das aufgefallen. Shit! Dann kommt der Chat, dann sieht jemand so random diesen Titel, kommt in den Chat und sagt, nenn mich Domina. Der ganze Chat dann total verwirrt. Nee, keine Ahnung. Ich mache mir da auch keinen großen Schiss. Da wär's dann selber schuld gewesen. Ja, das stimmt. Drüber gelacht. Aber gut, dass es dir wenigstens aufgefallen ist.
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Ne, es gibt ja zum Beispiel für 100% Runs die Abkürzung Hundo. Das mit Summer of Fantasy finde ich geil. Aber es ist zu sehr an Summer Games Zone Quick angelehnt, finde ich. Vielleicht nenne ich es auch gar nicht irgendwie. Seid euch denken. Stimmt, scheiße. Upsi. Ich weiß nicht, wie denkt ihr denn dazu? Wäre eine Abkürzung für das Event cool oder sagt ihr, ja, aber nee. Sagt ihr so eine Abkürzung für das Final Fantasy Event? Nee. Okay. Ich finde sowas ist wichtig. Aber also, ich sollte mein Gedankengang. Wer weiß, vielleicht entpuppt sich ja wirklich als eine coole Idee. Man kann daraus wirklich ein richtiges Event machen. Wie damals das Save the Final. Wo ich ja vor, ich glaube, 4-5 Jahren mal gemacht habe. Was nur ganz wenige kennen noch. Weil es schon ziemlich lange her ist. Ist gar noch länger, glaube ich, her. Ich glaube, das erste Save the Final hatte ich 2015 gemacht. Wenn mich nicht alles täuscht. Oh oh. Ich glaube, du willst nicht Kirschen essen. Und da auch nichts. Zum Glück haben wir vorhin noch mal ein paar... Okay, ich habe nur noch eins. Vergesst, was ich gerade sagen wollte. Ja, du warst schon bei dem Event dabei. Das stimmt. Nee, sowas würde ich schon ganz gerne wieder machen, so ein Event. Ich habe schon Lust auf so ein Final Fantasy Event. Sag ich ganz ehrlich, wie es ist. Ich glaube, es wird halt auch vielen gefallen, weil halt viele durch Final Fantasy ja auch hierher gekommen sind. wie es beschwert, zu wenig Final Fantasy Content. Scheiße, ich bin tot. Nicht gut. Da wird aber Fuchsteufelswild, wenn es dann einer sagt.
Be careful not to over... Do it.
Das Ding ist, ich muss aber dazu sagen, die Namensgebung für das Event ist nicht wirklich Priorität momentan bei mir. Bei mir ist halt wichtig, dass ich die Runs mache. Ich spiele schon Final Fantasy erst, voll komisch, gell? So dieses komische Spiel, wo du Tasten drückst, damit die Charakter was machen. Ist ja voll langweilig. Man muss doch mittendrin sein, nicht einfach nur dabei. Ey, das kam raus wie aus einer Pistole. Der war gut, oder? Der kam schnell. Für was machen? Ja. Nein. Du musst das lesen, ja. Du musst das lesen und dann auch überlegen und dir Gedanken machen, ob du das sind so Textboxen, da klickst du dann drauf, zum Beispiel Angriff, dann greift er an. Dann hast du Magie, da hast du aber nochmal ganz viele anderen Stuff. Also musst du richtig überlegen, also das ist viel zu komplex, so langweilig. Da bewege ich mich lieber, da kämpfe ich frei. Ist doch viel cooler. Bei Tetris, oh ja, Tetris, oh ja, Tetris. Okay, Real Talk, Tetris ist wirklich kompliziert. Hat eine Geschwindigkeit. Da mache ich lieber die 1000 Seilsprünge in FF9. Wie kann das jemand ja, wer kann denn sowas auch spielen? Ist doch voll langweilig. Guck dir mal Fortnite an, ey. Fortnite, bestes Spiel. Ist voll cool. Offizielle Namen? Echt, die haben offizielle Namen? Okay, das ist cool. Das ist geil. Echt? Das wusste ich gar nicht. Wieder was gelernt. War das eine Aussage mit den 1000 Seilensprüngen? Nein. Nope. Da hast du dich nur verhört. Das habe ich nur so daher gesagt. Ich weiß nicht, soll man da das Ding kaputt machen? Ja, oder? Wenn wir es überhaupt kaputt machen können. Ja, können wir. Können wir aber vielleicht doch nicht, weil wir haben kein Dings mehr. Ah, diese 60% will ich eigentlich nicht machen. Aber come on. Wenn ich jetzt einen Teleport krieg, kotze ich im Strahlen. War in irgendeinem Manuell mal drin. Oh, ich habe die falsche Taste gedrückt.